What a week it is going to be. The month of February brings the biggest changes to all of us. There are three massive shifts taking place this February. In this video, I'm going to talk about the first very important shift, basically where a mountain is moving. This big shift is taking place with Aries and the planet Saturn. Saturn moves out of Pisces on February 13th and it moves into Aries. This move is a massive move in our focus, in our hard work, and also in areas of reward. So in this video, I'm going to go through every single sign of the zodiac and very quickly talk about what rewards you're going to experience in the next year from the past 2.5 years of Saturn having been in a particular place in your chart. And with the move of Saturn into Aries, what hard work areas are going to be your focus for the next 2.5 years. We'll begin with our friend Aries. My dear Aries, big change. In the past 2.5 years, you've come out of a lot of hard work in the area of your 12th house, spirituality, subconsciousness, feelings, emotions, the layers, the programming that has been in the back of our mind from our society and our upbringing. You have been looking at cleansing that in the past 2.5 years. So for the next year, you will actually see rewards in that you've worked really hard to become very mature in that part of your life, because Pisces for you is the 12th house. As Saturn moves into Aries, it moves into you. It moves into your identity, who you are, and pretty much, you know, your sun is in Aries, which means the center of your galaxy, the center of your solar system is going to have a lot of hard work now. So for the next 2.5 years, you're going to be building foundations in your life. Anything that you have going on in your life that's not stability focused and that's not long-term and sustainable will fade away, and you will be making strong decisions to empower those parts of your life that stand the test of time. Embrace this period. This is a very important period. It really gives us a lot of empowerment once it passes through. So that's for my dear Aries. Put your head down, work hard. It's gonna pay off. My dear Taurus, Pisces, for the past 2.5 years, Saturn in Pisces has been giving you some hard work in the area of your 11th house of networks. You have been working very hard to build a strong network. Perhaps you have kind of, gotten rid of certain parts of your network that don't feed your long-term sustainable success. And so it's been a lot of hard work. You've been putting in a lot of effort in that area. Now you will find the rewards from that. And the hard work will move now into Aries, which for you is your 12th house of subconscious development and cleansing, your emotions, your feelings, how you show up when it comes to your emotional self, what is happening underneath what other people cannot see. So you'll be working on that. Embrace that. It's a very, very healthy and empowering transition. So that's the next 2.5 years, my dear Taurus. But enjoy rewards for the next year with regards to your network. So you're gonna have expansive network opportunities in the next year to reward you from having graduated from Saturn in your 11th house in the past 2.5 years. My dear Gemini, your 10th house of career and public image have been a huge part of your hard work in the past 2.5 years. You're gonna find rewards for that in the next year, and you will now transition into focusing on your 11th house of networks. So you're going to start working hard on your networks, but you're coming out of 2.5 years of hard work in your career. So in the next year, you're going to find great rewards. All that hard work, now you're going to see the fruits of it, particularly in your career. My dear Cancer, in the past 2.5 years where Saturn has been in Pisces, that has been in your 9th house of learning, traveling, higher education, philosophies. So you've been working hard on that. That's actually an easy house for Saturn to be in. But either way, you could have been working on, learning a new career path or new skills. You may have been getting certificates in certain parts of whether it's developing your career, developing your education, or getting a degree in something in the past 2.5 years. And this is graduation time. So you'll get rewards for that for the next year. Now, for the next 2.5 years, you're going to see a lot of hard work in your 10th house of career, and that will pay off. It's actually a great place for Saturn to be in, because Saturn is all about responsibility and structure. So employ a lot of structure and responsibility in your career for the next 2.5 years. It will pay off. My dear friend Leo, for the past 2.5 years, Saturn has been sitting in your 8th house of shared resources, of death and rebirth, of sexuality, of other people's money. So that would have an impact on parts of, if you're in a partnership, for example, your partner may have had changes in their money situation. You may have had clients that have, not had a lot of funds to share with you. So really, that's the 8th house. I mean, have had a lot of responsibilities in terms of taxes and things like that in the past 2.5 years. Now for the next year, you're going to receive the rewards of that hard work. And then for the next year, you're going to receive rewards for that hard work. And then for the next 2.5 years, Saturn is moving into Aries, which is your 9th house of higher education. So you may want to go and get a certificate or a degree, or learn a new skill, or even do a lot of travels, because the 9th house is all about travels. If you're in the travel industry, you'll be working hard in that area. So that's for the next 2.5 years for you, my dear Leo. My dear Virgo, for the past 2.5 years, you have had Saturn in your 7th house of partnerships and relationships. So you've been working really, really hard on those. You've been putting in a lot of effort, a lot of it's a really hard placement. So congratulations, you have graduated from that. In the next year, you're going to find great rewards that come from partnerships and relationships. So partnerships on a business level as well as on a personal level. So that's the next year you will see rewards in that. The next 2.5 years now, it moves into your 8th house of shared resources. So you're going to find yourself having more responsibilities in the 8th house of shared resources, perhaps limitations on, sexual adventures. You will see that perhaps you're going to be putting in a lot more effort into going out and getting funds from your clients, for instance, doing a lot more hard work on your taxes, crossing your T's and dotting your I's. So that will be, my dear Virgo, but enjoy the rewards this year from having worked hard in those partnerships. It's going to pay off. My dear Libra, the last 2.5 years have been a lot of hard work in your 6th house of day-to-day routines, work, like the day-to-day aspects of work, as opposed to like grandiose careers. It's like day-to-day responsibilities, but also pets. If you have pets, you may have had a lot of extra responsibilities with them in the past 2.5 years. You are coming out of that, so you'll have rewards in that area. And in the next year, you'll get those rewards. In the next 2.5 years, Saturn is moving into your 7th house of relationships and partnerships. So you'll be putting in a lot more effort and strong emphasis and accountability into how you show up in your relationships and in your partnerships, both personal and professional. But it will pay off. You are building sustainable partnerships that are meant to last a lifetime. And that's the beauty about Saturn. So embrace that. My dear Scorpio, Saturn is coming out of Pisces, which is your 6th house of day-to-day routines. Your 5th house, your 5th house of romance, of creativity, of children as well. So Pisces is your 5th house of creativity, romance, children. You may have found yourself working really hard on creative endeavors in the past 2.5 years, and that you may have been working hard with endeavors around your children, whether you were trying to have children or you already have some and they've been giving a lot of responsibility your way. You're coming out of that, or romance. You may have been working hard in that area. You will have rewards in the next year with regards to that particular house. And so as Saturn moves into Aries, it moves into your 6th house of day-to-day work, routine, health routine, pets. So for the next 2.5 years, just put your head down, hydrate, take care of your health, be organized and structured in your everyday routines, do your yoga, go to the gym, all that good stuff, and be structured in day-to-day routines, and that will really pay off. And in terms of pets as well, if you have a pet, for example, you're probably just going to be spending more time looking after them and just having to be responsible with regards to what they eat and how they, how they are doing. It all pays off, so just, put our heads down. For my dear Sag, in Aries or in Pisces, this has been actually a tough transition for you. Saturn in Pisces has been in your 4th house of home and family. So you may have had, more responsibilities come your way when it comes to your home affairs, and perhaps you have bought a house, perhaps you've moved a home, perhaps you've had a lot of responsibilities in your family. So that's going to pay off now. In the next year you'll find rewards for that, and in the next 2.5 years now, Saturn moves into your 5th house of romance, creativity, children. It's an easier transition for you than the past 2.5 years. All right, so embrace that. Go and put your hard work into your creative endeavors, into your kids, into your love life, and your, what brings you joy, basically, is what you're going to be working hard towards. So it will pay off. Definitely an easier transition. Congrats on Saturn passing through your 4th house. My dear Capricorn, Saturn in Pisces has been in your 3rd house of communication and siblings. So for the past 2.5 years, you may have been working hard on, your brand, whatever your brand is right now, communicating your brand, communicating your ideas to those around you, on your communication skills. And perhaps you've been also working hard on your relationships with your siblings. That is now, you're going to get rewarded for your hard work in those areas. And Saturn is now moving into your 4th house of home and family. This could be real estate. This could be a change in your home. You might be building a new home. You might be having a lot more responsibilities in your family. So, but not to fear. Saturn is a comfortable place for you, my dear Capricorn. You are ruled by Saturn, and structure is your happy place. So this should be easier for you than for others, although it is, a lot of hard work in the next 2.5 years. But you will be just fine. We have a lot of trust in you where Saturn is concerned. My dear Aqua, for the past 2.5 years in Pisces, Saturn has been sitting in your 2nd house of material resources. So money, self-worth, comfort. So you may have been working hard on developing that for yourself in the past 2.5 years. You will get rewarded for that in the next year. So you're going to find that this year you're going to have a lot more comforts, a lot more disposable income that will come your way. You'll have some rewards in your money sector. Now, the responsibilities will now move to your 3rd house, third house of communication and sharing of ideas, as the 3rd house for you is Aries, and Saturn is going to be in Aries. So work hard on that. If you're in the marketing industry, it just means you're going to be actually doing a lot more work in putting out your brand. Maybe you'll be restructuring, revamping how you come out into the world and how your brand comes out into the world. So put out some energy in there. And also siblings. So you may have more responsibilities towards your siblings in the next 2.5 years. But not to fear, it's an easier transition than the past 2.5 years of Saturn having been in your 2nd house. So enjoy the fruits of the materialistic, or the material fruits of Saturn getting out of your 2nd house. And for my dear Pisces, the biggest congrats to you. You've just survived 2.5 years of Saturn being in Pisces. So you've had really a ton of hard work in the past 2.5 years in literally all areas of your life and in who you are. So this is a massive, massive transition. You're going to have exceptional rewards all year long this year. And now Saturn moves into your 2nd house of money, comfort, you're going to be basically looking at, hey, what is it how do I make money? And is the way that I make money how I want it to be. Is this fulfilling me, or do I need to restructure things so that I'm more fulfilled? And coming out of Saturn in your first house for the past 2.5 years, you're fully equipped to cover that and to cover it with a lot of success in 2026. So wishing you all an amazing 2026 ahead. This is a really huge transition. Please embrace it. Saturn is a massive, massive impact on how we build foundations in our lives. And so embrace the hard work, and I promise you it will pay off. Have an amazing 2026. Thank you.